And now, Catholic bishops in Congo have made a call for fair and independent justice. Also, they've called for the release of all political prisoners in the country. In a recently released statement, they expressed their concern about the social, political and economic crisis the country has had to deal with for the past 3 years.
We'll try to understand this situation with the National Coordinator of the Justice and Peace Commission in Brazzaville, Father Félicien Manguvu. The Catholic bishops made a statement last Thursday in which they expressed their concerns about the socio-political and economic crisis that Congo is going through. Do you think that the situation is now dead with the political establishment and the Church has to break its silence?
Sortir de son silence finalement?
No, the Church did not come out of its silence. This is not the first time that bishops have spoken. This is part of the Church's prophetic mission. When we notice dysfunctions in society at the level of human life, the Church has always spoken out. This is what the prophets did in the Bible, to warn, to draw attention. I'm not in the bishop's shoes, but I find that the Church in Africa does not speak too often. Personally, I think that when we realize that things are not going well, there is difficulty. The Church should speak up all the time to alert. So precisely, by speaking last Thursday, the Church did not come out of silence. The Church had been fulfilling its prophetic mission. The bishop's outburst left the government uncomfortable. Its spokesperson, who reacted quickly on an international radio, said that the Church has gone out of its way by sending a message he called political, a word in relation to the reaction. What do you think of this? There have been many reactions. Everyone has their own version of the facts, depending on where they are. Well, when they say the Church has gone out of its role, I don't share the same opinion. The Church has a social doctrine, and that is a social teaching that began in 1891 with Pope Leandrine. The Church has regularly intervened in the problems of society. So this is not the first time. And I even hope that the Church will regularly take the opportunity to speak out, to build, to enlighten, and not to take sides with a particular party or the presidential majority. No, just to enlighten the world, because we are going through this at the moment and receiving a response from the Church.
Perhaps
the government saw this as the start of an activism of the Church, such as the Episcopal community in neighboring Congo. Not at all. We are not here to imitate what others did there. The bishops gathered to brainstorm together and do what the Church does in the traditional way. You know well that often the Pope writes, the Episcopal conferences write. Their encyclicals and their exhortations, so we are not inspired by what is happening elsewhere. No, that is their story. But the bishops got together, they took charge to say, they took the courage to say, to denounce what was wrong. It's even very good for societies that institutions like the Church can take a stand to enlighten, to build, and it's very good, the sign of good social health.
And
final question. In a statement, the bishop stressed that signing a peace agreement in Kinkala alone is not enough to end the poor crisis. What do you propose? So there have been agreements signed, but the agreements must have been accompanied. This is a step that was done in Kinkala. We must now call the protagonists and then the experts to accompany all these agreements. There are people who have lost their homes. People who are homeless, they have to go back to their homes. We must accompany them. We must support them. So I think, in my opinion, this is what prompted the bishops to say that agreements on paper are not enough. We must follow them. We are dealing in the team with compatriots who have suffered. We must try to make amends. But above all, we must draw conclusions for the future. And we really hope that there is no more conflict in Pool, and it stops at once and for all. We'll continue time and time again.